Hello everyone, it's Double A here. Yes, I'm changing my channel name. And today I'm doing a follow-up video on the Walmart Great Value glass LED lights, or LEDs as they call them usually. So I had done a video on these probably about a year ago, and I praised them a lot. And I still stand by that. They have their flaws, but they're pretty good LED light bulbs overall. In the video I made originally, I had a theory of how I thought they worked. So I said that these probably did not have a transformer in them and instead just had a long string of diodes. They were passing 120 or so volts across these long string of light emitting diodes, so each diode would only see about 3 volts, so it wouldn't fry it out. And I actually decided, well, the only way to find out is to take one apart and see if there's a transformer in it. So instead of actually trying to take one apart here in front of you and cutting myself on something sharp, which I am known to do if you know me, I have one that I already took apart right here. And the story behind this is actually I bought a box and one of them was kind of broken inside of it. So the glass on the outside of it was still fine, but the inside glass here was cracked a bit. And it made some like clinking noises when you moved it around. And it actually worked, this works. But I decided, well, instead of trying to return this whole box over one light bulb, I'll just take this one apart and see what's inside. So that's where we are here. I took this apart probably about 6 months ago. Never got around to doing anything about it. So here we have the filament stick. And there's 2 leads on here. One is positive and one is negative because these are LEDs. The electricity needs to go through them in a certain direction. And on the base, the positive and negative are marked. So we have negative right here, positive right here. And those make contact with these pins on the tower or tree or whatever you want to call it with the LED strips on them. And then back inside of here, below this little green circuit board, there are some capacitors down there and some, looks like resistors from the assembling on top of here. There's no transformer, so I was right on that. I mean, it'd be hard to fit a transformer down in there. And from what I can see, looking down in there, there isn't one. This is part of what allows these to run so much cooler than regular LED light bulbs. I mean, I can hold my hand on them for probably an indefinite period of time, and they're just slightly warm. I won't burn myself. And that's also what makes these more efficient generally. So, like the 60 watt equivalent Wal-Mart bulb only uses 6.5 watt compared to just about any other light bulb is going to use at least 9 watts. So actually, as a comparison, I have a dead LED bulb here that is transformer style. It's one of these guys here. It's simply Conserve brand, also known as the cheapo freebie light bulb my power company gave me several years ago. So nothing special about it. And you can tell, you see the massive heat sink. It's one of the older style of bulbs. So I was surprised, even though they do say not for use in totally enclosed luminaires. I decided to go ahead and use this in a totally enclosed luminaire anyways because of the massive heat sink. I'm like, well, this isn't going to have a problem with heat. It's got a massive heat sink. And I think this one here I'm holding still is a good one. I got new out of the box. But I had one that had died in the enclosed fixture. So I decided, well, let's do an autopsy on it and see what may have happened. And here it is. I also have that one pre-taken apart for us. And inside, you see a circuit board here. Let's chop it out with some scissors. These wires connect up, so we're just gonna cut them. It's dead anyways. That's the point. And pull that circuit board out. And so here we have a bunch of, there's like a metal oxide varistor, I guess some capacitors there. And here's the transformer. So this is the standard transformer style LED. And then we have a very large capacitor here, which is also why in my first video I found that these Walmart LED light bulbs, they flickered a bit. It wasn't super bad, but it was there. And if you like waved your hand in front of them, you noticed a little bit of a streaking effect or whatever you want to call it. And then also if you held a camera with a rolling shutter up to it, you'd see some darker lines flowing through. And this LED here, it didn't flicker nearly as much. Like there was no noticeable flicker to it. And that's probably in part because of this, probably mostly to do with this very large capacitor here. While this Wal-Mart bulb, there's some capacitors down in it, but they're not very big because they have to fit in that tiny little space. And what the capacitors do is they smooth out the incoming waveform so it's not choppy as much, so the light doesn't flicker as much. Now, so I see some darker marks on this circuit board that looks like they were a result of heat, maybe. I'm not sure if you see that. Overall, the circuit board doesn't look like it's in that bad a shape. I think it's the circuit board that's bad, though. So when we look at this bulb, we see it's actually mostly well designed, I think. These LEDs, the LEDs themselves, are attached to like a metal backer that then goes down and is attached to the heatsink. So I bet you, and I have no way to test it right now. I need some sort of DC voltage generator. Maybe we could do something with a battery. I don't know. I'll have to see. But I bet you these LEDs themselves, or at least most of them, are probably okay. Because they seem to be very well set up so that the heat will be dissipated away from them fast with this metal backing, and it's directly attached to this metal heatsink that is coated with some sort of paint. You see here, you can see the metal. So I'm here at my buddy Mr. W's house, and he's going to test the LEDs on this bulb.
Alright, so here's the first set. They light up. Just doing low voltage so I don't blind myself. They light up. They light up.
Yeah, you have to believe them.
And the last set lights up.
Okay, you can see that one.
See that? Yep.
So it looks like, and we do have the voltage reduced here, but we had it higher and they were still shining bright. So it looks like the LEDs themselves are okay.
That's why I turned it down, man. Woo, that's nice and bright.
Cool. But I think what killed this bulb, which is probably because it was an enclosed fixture, but what did it is this circuit board here was not directly attached to the heatsink. It was inside this like air chamber here. And I don't know what would have been better. I know air is not a very good conductor of thermal energy. Not great for heat transfer. Of course, you can't have metal directly touching the circuit board because that'd be a hazard. So I don't know. I've seen potted circuit boards. If this was coated with some sort of plastic-like material that was maybe better at conducting heat than just straight air, but didn't conduct electricity at the same time, maybe that would have helped. I think this circuit board not being well hooked up to the heatsink, I think that's what did this bulb in. But for this Wal-Mart LED bulb, that's what I wanted to focus on. I do have, and also show some pictures, some information about what this thing looked like taken apart. I actually screwed it into a lamp base like this, and this guy just laying on top. It worked. I had I had a multimeter. I was doing some measurements. Don't try it at home. Now, part of the reason I made this video was that I wanted it to be a follow-up on my experience with the Great Value glass LED light bulbs. And so far, my experience with them has been good. Of the 20 or so I'm using, only one has been bad, and that was the one that was damaged in the box. All the ones I've installed are still glowing bright. Let's take a look at a few of the places in my house where I'm using them. So, I did actually decide to use these in a totally enclosed fixture, even though it says they're not for totally enclosed luminaires. Use the same logic as I did with that other light bulb. They don't get that hot. What's going to be the problem? So here I'm using them in my kitchen light fixture, which is known for eating through light bulbs. That glass you're looking at on the casing of the fixture is very thick. Doesn't let much heat through. They've been working in this for, I would say, about 6 months ago I put them in there. And it's not super long. So I can't say how long they're going to last in there. Historically, I've never had a bulb, even an LED, last longer than 2 years in that fixture. So we're going to see, are these Wal-Marts going to follow the trend, or are they going to live longer? So this is the place where I'm kind of surprised that they're still working based on that rating. But we'll see. And what is interesting, when I put my hand up to that fixture, it barely feels warm. You could say the heat's trapped in, but even after those lights are on for a while, the heat should have had enough time to make its way through the glass. I mean, it's a little warm, but it doesn't feel hot or anything, so I think they're okay in there. These bulbs are also still working well in the totally enclosed luminaires that are in my upstairs hallway, so we'll see how long they last there, too. Now, these kitchen bulbs I showed you are on for probably at least 6 hours a day, so they get a lot of use. These guys are probably only on for 30 minutes or an hour each day, so I expect these ones to last longer. I've also had them in my garage door opener light for about a year, and they've held up well under the vibration so far. One thing I did notice when I installed them here, though, was that the garage door remote was sometimes unreliable when they were on. This indicates that the bulbs are causing some interference in the 300 to 400 MHz range, which is used by most garage door openers. I found this interesting, given that these do not seem to interfere at all with AM or FM radio. The receiving antenna on the opener was originally tucked inside near the one light bulb. When I extended it so it stuck down out of the light, the issue went away. So, here's the plug. If you like my video, hit the button, please subscribe, and if you want to support my channel, I do have a Patreon account, and you can get early access to my videos. So, thanks for watching, and happy holidays from Adam A. Comedy and... wait, Double A. That's my new channel name. I'm also using them on my garage door opener light. Now, something interesting I noticed after I installed these, the garage door opener seemed to sometimes have difficulty working. And what fixed it was, see that antenna dangling down? I actually had to extend the antenna downward. And I'm just going to take a photo. It's too damn cold out there.